Imagine a world where the sun scorches the earth beyond recognition, where green turns to dust and oceans rise to swallow cities whole. This isn't a scene from some distant future or a science fiction film. This is our reality unfolding right now. And in the face of this unfolding chaos, one question remains. Does humanity still have the strength, the will, and the heart to turn the tide? This isn't just a climate story. It's a test of who we are and who we're willing to become. Every word you're about to hear isn't just meant for your mind. It's meant for your soul. This is not just a speech, it's a wake-up call. A voice rising from the silence, daring the world to feel, to act, to change. So don't scroll away. Don't look down. Because what you're about to hear might not just change the way you think. It might change the path you walk from this moment forward. In the past year alone, the world has witnessed a terrifying escalation in global temperatures. 2024 shattered previous heat records, turning cities into furnaces, oceans into warm baths, and farmlands into deserts. What we're facing is not a distant threat, but a blazing reality burning through every corner of the earth. From the heart of Europe to the plains of South Asia, people are experiencing temperatures they were never built to endure. Heat waves that once lasted days now drag on for weeks. Wildfires are no longer seasonal, they are constant. Rivers that once flowed freely now dry up before summer even begins. Glaciers that stood for thousands of years now weep and collapse into rising seas. This isn't a slow shift, it's a violent jolt. And nature is sounding the alarm with thunder and flame. The numbers are not just statistics, they are symptoms of a planet in distress. July of 2024 was declared the hottest month in 174 years of record keeping. In some regions, heat crossed the human survivability threshold, killing crops, animals, and people alike. Coral reefs, the rainforests of the ocean, are bleaching and dying. Arctic ice is disappearing faster than scientists ever predicted. Our planet's natural thermostat has been thrown out of balance. Each degree rise pushes more ecosystems toward collapse, more communities toward catastrophe. The chain reaction is real. Hotter air means more evaporation, which means less water, more droughts, and even worse fires. It is all connected. And yet, despite this unfolding emergency, many continue to live in denial. Some call it exaggeration, some say it's just a cycle, but there's no normal in what's happening now. The earth has changed its language. It speaks in droughts, floods, storms, and heat, and it is screaming louder with every passing season. But the most frightening part isn't just what's happening. It's how quickly it's happening. The pace has accelerated. What scientists once warned might happen in 2050 is unfolding now. We are not watching the climate change, we are living it. Every record broken is not just a headline, it's a reminder that the clock isn't ticking anymore, it's pounding. And it's calling on us to act. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. All across the world, the climate crisis is no longer just an environmental issue, it's a human one. The suffering caused by extreme weather is breaking records and breaking lives. In sub-Saharan Africa, farmers who've relied on seasonal rains for generations now stare at cracked soil and empty skies. Their crops have failed not once, not twice, but season after season, and hunger is spreading faster than any government can respond. In South Asia, families are being torn apart by floods that wash away homes in minutes, leaving behind nothing but mud, memories, and mourning. In Latin America, prolonged droughts are forcing entire communities to migrate, not for opportunity, but for survival. Even in developed countries, the crisis is delivering painful blows. In Southern Europe and the Western United States, wildfires have become unstoppable monsters, devouring forests, homes, and hope. Cities built for comfort are now turning deadly during heat waves, especially for the elderly and the poor. Emergency rooms are filling with heat stroke victims. Power grids are collapsing under the pressure of air conditioners running nonstop. And while the rich can escape to cooler places, install advanced systems, or rebuild, the poor are left to suffer, unshielded and unheard. What makes it worse is that those who contributed the least to this crisis are suffering the most. The people who live in small villages, who walk instead of drive, who grow food instead of consuming endlessly, they're the ones now facing the wrath of a broken climate system. Meanwhile, the industries and governments that pumped carbon into the skies for over a century continue to debate, delay, and deflect. This injustice runs deep. It's not just about heat or storms. It's about inequality, about who has a voice and who gets buried under silence. Children are growing up in refugee camps not because of war, but because their homes became unlivable. Parents are watching their kids fall sick from waterborne diseases that spread in floodwaters. The psychological toll is just as heavy. Fear, uncertainty, hopelessness are spreading like wildfires of the mind. And still, the world hesitates. But make no mistake, this suffering is not natural. It is man-made and it is preventable. The suffering is not collateral damage. It is the consequence of decisions made and ignored. And unless we act, the pain will deepen and the numbers will no longer be counted in degrees, but in lives. For years, humanity treated climate change like a far-off problem, something that would perhaps affect future generations, but not us, not now. It was talked about in meetings, mentioned in speeches, and written into treaties, but always with the assumption that we had time to act, time to adjust, time to wait. But the truth is, we never had the luxury of time, and now we're out of it. The illusion has shattered. What was once considered a slow-moxie crisis has erupted into an urgent emergency, and there is no reset button. Every moment we hesitate is a moment lost forever. We told ourselves we'd cut emissions gradually. We told ourselves the Earth could handle a few more degrees. But the warnings were never vague. Scientists told us again and again that crossing certain thresholds would unleash irreversible consequences. Those thresholds have been crossed. The ice caps are melting faster than predicted. The oceans are acidifying. Wildfires are multiplying, and weather patterns are spinning out of control. What we thought we could delay, we now have to face head-on. The damage is accelerating. The pace of destruction is not linear, it's exponential. Each year of inaction stacks on top of the last, amplifying the heat, the floods, the droughts, the displacement. People think we have decades left to make a difference. But decades have already passed while we argued and doubted and played politics. What we do in the next few years will determine the next few centuries. We are not on the edge. We're past it. The systems we rely on, our food, our water, our homes, are trembling under the weight of a planet in distress. There's no more room for delay and no more excuse for ignorance. The fires are not in the distance anymore. They are at our doorstep, creeping into our cities, choking our skies and scorching our fields. This crisis doesn't care about borders. It doesn't wait for legislation or listen to debates. It moves whether we do or not. That is a terrifying truth. But within that truth lies power. If the damage is man-made, then so is the solution. But solutions require speed, unity, and sacrifice. We can't afford the comfort of waiting. We can't pretend tomorrow will be better if we do nothing today. The clock is no longer ticking, it's roaring, and every second we spend in silence is a second stolen from our children's future. Throughout history, when humanity faced its darkest hours, it was not wealth, weapons, or technology alone that saved us. It was the strength of our collective spirit. It was unity, resilience, and the will to fight back against the impossible. Whether it was rebuilding nations after wars, healing the world after pandemics, or landing on the moon against all odds, we have proven again and again that when human beings unite behind a purpose greater than themselves, miracles can happen. The climate crisis is no different. It is vast, it is terrifying, and it is urgent, but it is not unbeatable. We are not powerless. We have knowledge that past generations never had. We have the science to measure every inch of the planet's changes. We have the innovation to build clean energy systems, restore forests, and reshape cities. We have the technology to replace what pollutes, to protect what remains, and to regenerate what was lost. What we lack is not tools, it's commitment. But commitment has always come from courage, and courage is born not when things are easy, but when the stakes are highest. Human resilience is not a theory, it's a force. It's in the hands of a farmer who learns new ways to grow food in a changing climate. It's in the minds of young engineers designing buildings that survive floods and heat waves. It's in the hearts of communities that come together after wildfires destroy everything, helping each other rebuild from ashes. This is the kind of strength that doesn't show up in headlines, but it changes the course of history. It is the same strength we need now, not just in science labs or government halls, but in homes, schools, streets, and hearts across the world. The greatest changes in history were never made by perfect people with perfect plans. They were made by determined souls who refused to accept the destruction of what they love. The earth is still alive, the forests still grow, the oceans still breathe, the air still carries hope, and as long as we are breathing, there is time to act. But action begins with belief. Belief that we are not helpless passengers on a sinking ship, but capable captains who can turn the wheel. The power we need isn't out there, it's in us, in all of us. Together we can rise, together we can rebuild, and together we can win. All over the world, a new generation is rising, not with fear, but with fire. These are not leaders chosen by elections or assigned by governments. They are young voices, activists, scientists, students, and ordinary citizens who have chosen to speak truth in a world that often prefers silence. They are not waiting for permission to act. They are standing on the front lines of protests, speaking in parliaments, designing clean technology, and challenging billion-dollar systems with nothing but courage and conviction. They are the beating heart of this movement, and their message is clear. We will not inherit a broken planet without a fight. Across continents, young people are skipping school to demand climate justice, not because they hate education, but because they understand that no degree will matter on a dying planet. They are calling out the hypocrisy of powerful nations that speak of progress while fueling destruction. They are shining a light on the forgotten voices, the communities that suffer in silence while corporations profit. They are turning their grief into grit and their fear into fuel. Their actions may be small in the eyes of the world, but they carry the weight of generations yet to come. And it's not just protest. Some are writing new laws. Some are building solar-powered villages. Some are educating others, not through textbooks, but through passion and lived experience. Many are sacrificing comfort, fame, and even their safety to defend the future. They are mocked, silenced, even threatened, but they don't stop because they know what is at stake. They know that the decisions made today will echo for centuries, and they know that silence now is surrender later. They are not the leaders of tomorrow, they are the leaders of now. And their power doesn't come from titles, it comes from truth. In a world addicted to denial and delay, they are the antidote. They are the reminder that change does not come when it's convenient, it comes when it's necessary. And right now, it's necessary. They are not asking for applause, they are asking for accountability. They are not hoping someone else will act, they are becoming the action. And their courage is a mirror for the rest of us. Because if they are willing to risk everything to protect a future they have not even seen, then what excuse do the rest of us have? This crisis is not just about melting glaciers, rising seas, or carbon emissions. It's about something much deeper. It's about the values we choose to live by. It's about compassion, courage, and responsibility. When we talk about solving the climate crisis, we often speak in terms of science and policy, but the real fuel behind change has always been the human spirit, faith, not just in religion, but in each other, in justice, in the sacredness of life, is what keeps people standing when the storms rage, is what drives communities to rebuild after disaster, and what gives parents the strength to keep going when their children ask why the sky is full of smoke. Without faith, the science is just data. Without compassion, solutions become transactions. And without courage, we'll always find an excuse to delay what we know is right. Responsibility begins with honesty. Honesty about how we got here and about who must lead the way out. For too long, we've pushed the burden onto future generations, onto developing nations, onto the voiceless. But true responsibility means stepping up even when we don't have to. Even when we don't have to. It means recognizing that the earth is not ours to consume, it's ours to protect. It means understanding that every action we take today shapes the world someone else will wake up in tomorrow. Turning off a light, planting a tree, voting for policies that protect the environment. These aren't small things. They're seeds of a better world, planted with intention and watered with belief. Courage is what allows us to face uncomfortable truths. It's what makes someone stand up and say, enough, when others stay quiet. It's what turns despair into determination. The path ahead will not be easy. There will be resistance, there will be doubt. But history has never been written by the comfortable. It's been written by those who risked something to make it better. And this moment demands that kind of courage. We cannot wait for the perfect plan or the perfect time. The perfect moment is now. Because this planet, this gift we've been given, is not just a home. It's a test of who we are and who we're willing to become. And if we choose faith over fear, courage over comfort, and responsibility over convenience, then there is still time not just to survive, but to transform. So here we stand, not at the edge of a cliff, but in the middle of the storm. A storm we helped create. A storm we still have the power to calm. The climate crisis is not some distant apocalypse. It is the challenge of our time knocking on our door, burning through our fields, flooding our homes, and testing the strength of our humanity. But it is not the end unless we choose to make it one. Because within this darkness, there is still light. Within the chaos, there is still clarity. And within each one of us lies the courage to rise, the strength to fight, and the faith to believe that change is not only possible, it is necessary. The power is not in the hands of a few, it's in the hands of the many, in your hands, in our hands. And if we stand together with truth in our words, fire in our hearts, and compassion in our actions, we will not only survive this storm, we will lead the world into something better. To everyone listening, thank you for your time, your attention, and your heart. May you walk forward